The smartest marketers from all walks of life, in every industry, talking about the latest trends, opportunities, and challenges. Insights from marketing executives at organizations like National Geographic, IBM, and the Baltimore Ravens. And tips from business authors and experts known around the world. Ways to improve your community's marketing, starting now, right here on the Marketing Smarts Podcast.
That's right, but it's not the Marketing Smarts Podcast. It's the Marketing Smarts Live Show. But, hang on, Chris Broken. You already got your turn there, buddy. All right. It is not the podcast. It is the live show. I'm super excited to bring you another episode of the Marketing Smarts Live Show. Today, it's a beast of a little different flavor, but I think that you'll like it. There's going to be some value along the way. So without further ado, make sure you let me know when you tune in. Where are you tuning in from? It could be the platform. It could be the planet, wherever. But let's go ahead and get into this good stuff right here, right now. Welcome to the Marketing Smarts Live Show by MarketingProfs and the Marketing Smarts Podcast, where we dive into B2B news, resources, valuable guest content, and much, much more each and every week. Hey, if you're a B2B marketer looking for a place to learn, keep up to date, and have some fun along the way, well, grab a beverage, a notepad, or at least some style of writing utensil, and welcome to the show. Hello to all my Marketing Smarts Live viewers today. I'm super excited to bring you yet another episode of the Marketing Smarts Live Show. This week's topic is all about the power of second chances. That's right, second chances in B2B marketing and maybe even in life. So if you're ready to get your learn on, buckle up and let's get ready to rock and roll. Of course, hopefully you know me. I'm your boy, George B. Thomas, speaker, trainer, catalyst, and host of this here show, the Marketing Smarts Live Show, as well as the Marketing Smarts Podcast found on your favorite podcast app. Our guest clips today are brought to you by none other than Kellie Walenciak. Now, Kellie is head of marketing and communications at Televerde, a revenue growth company. Kellie is responsible for developing and executing a marketing strategy and brand image that sets Televerde apart while building long-lasting customer relationships. She oversees all internal and external digital marketing, brand messaging and management, content marketing, media relations, and employee communications. Kellie is a busy gal. Previously, Kellie spent 14 years at Avaya, where she last served as global head of employee engagement and executive communication partner to the CMO, head of HR, and general counsel. Kellie gives back to her community by volunteering for the Televerde Foundation in Phoenix, Arizona, and from Sanctuary in Watkins Glen, New York. When she isn't working, you'll find Kellie spending time with her husband, Matt, and their 3 children, binge watching a Netflix true life crime series, hiking, playing tennis, or maybe even traveling. Now, remember, the clips of Kellie Walenciak today are pulled from the full Marketing Smarts Podcast episode. And if you want to listen to the full interview with Kellie Walenciak and myself, make sure to tune into the Marketing Smarts Podcast. Link to the full show will be in the description below after the live show ends. In this episode, again, I'm talking with Kellie about the power of second chances in B2B marketing, and let's just be honest, maybe even in life. In this first clip, I wanted to ask Kellie, what would you say to those out there who think poorly about people who have been in, wait for it, because this is a big part of the conversation, incarcerated, and are looking for a second chance in life or in their occupation? And here's what Kellie had to share.
Yeah. Well, what I would start out by saying is I was probably one of those jerks at one time, because I think, we grow up with a narrative, a societal narrative around second chances. And this narrative is reinforced by the media. It's reinforced by Hollywood. I mean, I thought, prisons were Oz, Orange is the New Black. If people were there, they were supposed to be there. It was based on kind of like this fear of the people in there, that they were irredeemable, they weren't worth anything, they were just the worst that society had to offer. And then I think when you look behind the curtain and you see the people who are in there, they aren't unlike you or me. As a matter of fact, many of their crimes, they're crimes that probably many people that we know have committed, but just didn't have the same outcome. For example, maybe drinking under the influence, right? Or texting and driving. That leads to, people do it every day, right? And then just for one person, it leads to a terrible outcome, right? And then that outcome comes with a prison sentence. So when you go in there and you're meeting with these, for us, we work with women, I see women that are just like I am. Their moms, their daughters, their wives. They have hopes and they have dreams, and they're just looking for a chance, a chance to be better than that worst decision or that worst mistake that they made. So what I would say is, like, what I, in conversations with people and talking about second chances, I think that there is this lingering notion that by offering second chances, it's almost like synonymous with settling or compromising on talent and standards. And again, that's because of that societal narrative. So many believe that giving someone a second chance, we're somehow diluting the quality of our workforce or not maintaining the high bars that we set. So I'm going to set the record straight right now, and extending a second chance doesn't mean we accept less talent or potential. It's in fact the complete opposite. Those who have been given a second chance, perhaps after a misstep or a detour in their personal or professional lives, they often return to the fold with like an unmatched dedication and loyalty. They understand the value of the opportunity presented to them, and they are hungry to prove themselves. And I can't remember if we're connected on LinkedIn, but I just posted something this week about working at Televerde, and I said, it's the only company in my career where I feel like an underachiever. And that's true, because these women, especially as you start to get further into your career, we're always running into not wanting to relearn or not wanting to reskill. And why do I have to learn this technology? I don't want to be bothered with AI. And for these women, it's, I can. Just show me. I'll get it done. And they consume knowledge, and they're that committed to your business, right? And then the other thing is they bring this kind of like rich tapestry of experience and resilience, really that have been shaped by their unique journeys. So they have perspectives shaped by a mix of setbacks and triumphs, and they become catalysts for innovation and fresh thinking in a corporate setting. So imagine the kind of problem solving and creativity that stems from somebody who's navigated life's up and downs and emerged stronger from them. So instead of viewing the culture of second chances as a compromise, I think we need to see it as it truly is. It's an opportunity. And it's an opportunity for us to tap into this reservoir of potential, drive, and diversity that can really push the boundaries of what our businesses can achieve. And in today's age where innovation and adaptability are paramount, can we really afford to overlook such a valuable talent pool? I would say absolutely not. It's bad business if we do.
Man, I love this conversation so much, and I hope that you learn the lessons in between the lines of this episode. I will share with you that this full episode is one of my top 4 podcast episodes. Trust me when I tell you that you're going to want to listen to the full episode. It is full of nuggets. Has your life had ups and downs? Have you ever needed a second chance in life? Well, put the answer to that in the chat pane, or let me know on X using the hashtag MPB2B. And of course, tag me using @GeorgeB. Now we'll get back to Kellie and her thoughts on the power of second chances in B2B marketing. But first, I have to ask, are you part of the MarketingProfs community yet? If not, become part of the MarketingProfs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. That's mprofs.com/MP today. Now, it's time for one of my favorite sections in the B2B news, where we talk about breaking B2B news or really important tips we find on the Google News tab related to you and your B2B business. This week, the title is How Marketers Can Take Gen AI from Pilot Project to Proficiency. For marketers, the awe surrounding generative AI, Gen AI, has given way to the realization that adoption is hard work. Teams are discovering that Gen AI is neither a simple nor straightforward solution, but rather a continually evolving, yes, it is, technology that requires persistence and patience. Woo, that little virtue right there. On this week's podcast episode, VP and Principal Analysis Jay Patel and Principal Analysis Lisa Gatley describe the current state of Gen AI adoption among marketers and how they can tap the technology's full potential. Patel begins by sharing Forrester's survey that data shows the share of marketing organizations using Gen AI between Q1 and Q2 of 2023. The share tripled from 19% to 56%, only to fall back to 26% in Q4. Very interesting. This really illustrated that the honeymoon was kind of over. I don't know if you're going to have to read the rest of the article. Anyway, and that the complexity and the hard work of adoption has started. That's a true fact. He says it's not as simple as just generating copy. Amen to that. To read this article, check out the link below when the live show is over. So let's get back to Kellie Walenciak and her Marketing Smarts podcast episode. And in this next clip, I wanted to ask Kellie, how the heck did she learn about Televerde? Because that's the magic place, the thing that are happening there and the stories that are being told. Well, anyway, before I play the clip, have you ever felt jaded? Has your work ever felt mechanical? Have you ever struggled with your true why in your occupation? All right, now let's take a listen.
Well, I came to know about Televerde when I worked for Avaya. And I was at a place in my career. I had been there 14 years. It was a public company. It was a private company. We went into Chapter 11. Most of the time I was in HR at that point, so I saw a lot. And I started to become a little jaded about what corporate America was about. I just did. I didn't see a lot of purpose. I knew I had kind of this talent to kind of write and contribute, and I didn't feel as though my talents were being used at that point. It seemed very mechanical, to be honest with you. Like, okay, I can write, so I would sit down and I write, and I wrote it well, but I didn't really believe in a lot of what I was writing. And I did struggle with that, and I struggled with it for a few years, and kind of having conversations with my husband about, what am I doing here? But, you do sometimes get caught up in other things. I had 3 young kids, college in the future, and you kind of think the only way I could have something like this is a nonprofit, and that didn't seem like the right time to make a switch with into that with where we were in our lives. So while I was at Avaya, we had a CMO who was really focused on building up our sales funnel, and she put out an RFP. And Televerde was one of the companies that submitted a proposal, and she had actually gone out there, met with the CEO at the time, and came back. She's British and slightly different than us culturally, right? Where we tend to wear our heart on our sleeves, not really so with a lot of British people. And when she came back, she was visibly moved. So I knew she had experienced something that was really dramatic, to be honest with you. And she said, I want to tell you about what I experienced, and I need you to write a blog talking nothing about our company, but really focusing on what this company is doing to help elevate these women. And when I heard her experience and about what these women were learning, what they were capable of learning, how they were contributing, and even the thank you cards they had sent her they were so artistic and really kind of, really a lot of thought in it, and just the amount of gratitude that they had. I was just blown away. And she had said, I'll never forget this, she said, if our salespeople knew our products the way that these women did, we would have revenue growth quarter after quarter.
Whoo, what a great story. I hope that you're enjoying the slightly different journey that we're taking on this human side of our lives today. But did you hear that? If our sales team knew the products like these women, we would have growth quarter over quarter, which means year over year. Well, we'll get back to Kellie in a few minutes, but first it's time for some dope B2B learnings from the vault of MarketingProfs articles. That's right. It's time to dig into the treasure trove of valuable information and pull out 2 pieces of gold to help you be a better B2B marketer. Article 1 this week is We Are More Than Marketers, Integrating a Human-Centric Approach by Jeremy Carnell. Listen, human-centric marketing is defined by brands that approach engaging their current and prospective customers via advertising and marketing tactics as whole human beings with hearts, minds, and spirits, writes Philip Kotler, author of Marketing 3.0. In this article, they will outline the following 6 implementation steps that lead to a human-centric approach to marketing. 1, gain awareness. 2, become integrative. 3, by the way, I'm pausing so that you can write your notes down here. 1, gain awareness. 2, become integrative. Just start somewhere, identify what your brand stands for, and consider your people. Understand human science, by the way, is on this list as well. You're definitely going to want to check out this article. Article number 2 this week is When AI is Too Much, How to Balance Human and AI Marketing by Stephanie Shreve. Have you ever been on the receiving end of AI content and interaction that didn't work well? You know the type, emails written entirely by bot with wording that sounds slightly or mostly off and a message that isn't cohesive. I've even had the misfortune of attending webinars created entirely by ChatGPT. Boo, boo, boo. Marketers want to stand out from the crowd and showcase their creativity and capabilities, and they want to do it quickly. And AI is a new and exciting way to do just that. But there is such a thing as too much AI. Want to keep learning more? If so, check out the link in the description below after the live show to get access to both amazing MarketingProfs articles. Okay, back to Kellie Walenciak. Let's dive back into this conversation of the power of second chances in B2B marketing. In this clip, I wanted to get Kellie's thoughts on changing minds and giving people a second chance, and more importantly, how they help organizations make the change and give those chances these humans radically need. Here's what she had to share.
Look, it's hard to change hearts and minds on paper, right? So what could usually happen is you find somebody who hears about our company and is completely taken with the model and thinks this is a great idea, and then they take it back to their company. But you know, there's a lot of people who are involved in those types of decisions, bringing a new partner on board. You have procurement, you have HR, you have law, you have the C-suite, you know. And when you're dealing with a workforce like ours that's mostly incarcerated, there is this thinking, again, that you're higher risk because of your criminal background. It's not true. As I said, Shrem and Charles Koch Institute has a lot of really good data on this, and they're getting people back to work toolkit. But it's hard to change on paper, you know, like, you know, when your general counsel is kind of reviewing a contract, and their job is to protect the business from risk. And, you know, people with a criminal background are seen as a higher risk. And it's difficult. It's a challenge. The other challenge we have, I call it the dual stigma of what we face, is, you know, the stigma of incarceration, which is what we just talked about, but also it's kind of the stigma of a for-profit company using prison labor. I think right away the feeling is it's icky, you know, or how can they, because, you know, most of the stories you hear about for-profit companies and prison labor, it's bad. You know, the people are being used, they're not being paid properly, and all of that. And that's not how we're investing in these women. I mean, we even have a nonprofit working with us to provide additional safety nets for when our women get out of prison, when they re-enter society. That includes a career readiness and job placement program. So, you know, we're helping them get housing and providing them with financial literacy training. So our investment in these women doesn't end when they stop working for us. Many of them do, as I should say, many of them do go on to work for our corporate headquarters. But given the number of women that work for us in the prison facilities where we are, we can't hire them all. So we're always invested in them. We are invested in them for the rest of their lives. Whatever they need, we're there to support them. But I think from a company perspective, evaluating us, there's also this kind of thinking that because of the prison labor, they don't want to hear from their stakeholders. They don't want to have to try to explain, well, no, this company, they're doing right by the prison that they're using. So some companies just say, we're not going to work with a company that uses prison labor. And there are a lot of them that feel that way. And what we just keep trying to do with both stigmas is just keep educating the business community on the talent within this community, and that there are companies exploiting prison labor, and there are companies doing right by prison labor. And what we need are more companies doing right by prison labor, because I don't believe you can fix this mass incarceration problem and you can reverse recidivism unless you have for-profit companies, nonprofits, states, DOCs, all working together to try to solve this problem, because it's going to take all of them. Because you need the for-profit companies on board to help kind of train, to help invest, to hire, to recruit, to hire, to compensate, all of that. And the nonprofit companies to continue with the upskilling and the personal and professional development and helping them resolve the issues that led them to prison. So you need that aspect. And then, of course, you need to have the DOC, correctional industries, and also, all these states kind of coming together and working together. I mean, that is how you chip away and eventually solve this mass incarceration problem that's plaguing us. And it is plaguing us because I'll tell you, for us, we've had about, I want to say, well over 3,500 women graduate our program so far since 1994, which is when we first opened our doors. And nationally, the recidivism rate for 3 years is about 65%, which means 65% of people released from prison will return to prison within 3 years. When you look at the 5-year, you're going as high as 89%. At Televerde, of the women who graduated our program, our recidivism rate is 5.4%. That's significant. And these women are graduating, that's what we call it. They graduate our prison program. They have the full support of the Televerde Foundation, helping them get jobs in our workforce. And they're able to climb the career ladder and progress in their careers, and meaningful work, and, careers that pay really good money, so they can support themselves. They can support their families. They become the breadwinners, which is important.
So good. Are you starting to think or rethink about something you may have never thought of before? It's kind of my hopes for today's show, but we're going to get some words of wisdom from Kellie here in a few minutes. But right now, it's time to turn the spotlight on you, the Marketing Profs community. Yep, time for From the hashtag MP B2B community. We searched far and wide in the hashtag MP B2B universe to find amazing information and conversations to bring to you, the masses. So first, make sure you're using the hashtag. And second, make sure you have fun and add value to the community along the way. Then we'll spotlight you or your crew on the show. This week, it's Bree Krantz on LinkedIn, marketing professional, aspiring novelist, freelance editor, and cat mom. Her post goes a little something like this. Is expanding your thought leadership on your list of goals this year? I feel like I've been hearing this pop back up as a personal and professional goal for a lot of people and companies lately, and it's a great goal to have. If you're looking for ideas to get started, this article from the always awesome Ashley Foss breaks the core elements on thought leadership out into 4 pillars you can use to turn your ideas into a strategy to make it happen. That's right. You can make it happen, ladies and gentlemen. There is a link in the description in the show notes. but also there was a lot of hashtags, hashtag MPB2B, hashtag B2B, hashtag marketing, hashtag leadership, hashtag .leadership. But you need to check out that description and click that link to check out the post and read more or learn more or do both. Marketing Smarts viewers, I have to ask, are you going to be next to get the spotlight? Remember, community, use the hashtag MPB2B on Facebook, LinkedIn, or X and get the light shined on your awesomeness in the next episode or a future episode of the Marketing Smarts live show. Pro tip, it won't hurt if you tag me in your post as well. I'm at George B. Thomas on LinkedIn and on X. All right, let's kick it back to Kellie Walenciak and some words of wisdom around this topic of the power of second chances in B2B marketing. Here's what Kellie wanted to leave us with. Buckle up, hang on. Maybe you'll agree. I hope. We'll see.
It's time to champion the underdog. I mean, honestly, unexpected paths can lead to the most breathtaking vistas. And the unconventional, the outliers, what I've learned is they're the hidden gems of our industry. And I just think it's high time that we started embracing, rather than pushing people away or discounting them, or really buying into those stereotypes so strongly that we actually cause more harm. Because recidivism doesn't just affect the individual, it affects the children. And most of these women have children. And that's what I would say. They're, really like get behind the underdog, root for them. Like, as you said earlier about not wanting handout, giving them a hand up. That's what we need to do. We need to start uplifting people, stop putting people down, just really kind of have this kind of kind, compassionate, and empathetic way of doing business. And there's a ripple effect to that. Because when we do that, it helps these individuals and their families. It helps our business. But it also cleans up our communities. It strengthens our economy. It opens up more regions of the world for companies to do business in. So there's just nothing but wins to come out of that. And that is what I would say. Champion the underdog.
Nothing but wins can come out of that. And I love it's time to champion the underdog. So many good words of wisdom here today. Hopefully you jotted some of those down. Again, please take the time to go listen to the entire episode with Kellie Walenciak. It was absolutely amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, have you enjoyed today's journey? Let us know and use the hashtag MPB2B on whatever platform you are joining us on. That's right. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Time flies when you're having fun. Head to the description below. Click on the links to the full Marketing Smarts podcast with Kellie Walenciak and keep on learning more about the power of second chances in B2B marketing and, dare I say, in life. Remember, these were just a few clips of the original Marketing Smarts podcast interview. If you got value from today's show, hit that like and better yet, share it with a friend or a coworker. To keep learning more, hit the subscribe or watch additional MarketingProfs videos on your favorite social channel or head over to our YouTube channel if you're not there yet. Or you can go tune into the original Marketing Smarts podcast episode on your favorite podcast app. Don't forget to become part of the MarketingProfs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. That's mprofs.com/MP today. And as always, remember to be a happy, helpful, humble B2B marketing human. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Marketing Smarts live show real soon.